Recently, US Federal Reserve Chairman Bernanke told Congress although the US economy continues to recover from recession, the recovery rate has slowed. US unemployment is forecast to slow further and is currently stuck at 8% since June, and the job market has slumped the last quarter with only 75,000 jobs being added per month compared to 226,000 the first 3 months of this year. Joining me to talk about this further is Theodore Kekstadt, President at Forex Trading Unlocked. Hello, Theodore. Why do you think there are not just predictions of a slower rate of recovery for the US from recession, but also a slowdown in US employment figures?
Okay, well, besides the whole thing that's going on as far as like the debt that's increasing like crazy and everything politically, the drought conditions that we've had this year over the past 6 months it's a complete game changer for everything in America right now. I mean, right now you're looking at everything below the middle of the Midwest or of the breadbasket. 80-some% of the corn crop is wiped out, and we've had this week a little bit of rain, but basically the storms passed over, and there was not very much water that was dropped down. So if we don't get some rain very soon, you're looking at 80 to upwards of 90% of the corn crop completely wiped out this year. It's already affecting transportation because what happens is with the corn prices, the inflation's already seeping into the marketplace, and transportation is getting slowed because the Mississippi, the barges can't flow because the water levels have dropped so much, and now you're losing close to $400 million a day just off of transportation losses.
What strategy do you think the US Federal Reserve can deploy to combat unemployment?
Well, to be quite honest with you, the best strategy they can do would be to extend the Bush tax cuts, because we're in an election year. Right now, everyone is just panicking, and it doesn't matter what the candidate is. Whoever is in office the next 4 years is definitely got, a horrible job ahead of them. And it's just the people are strangled right now. You go to the gas pump. I know Europeans are used to paying a lot more for gas. Americans, over the past couple of years, have been shell-shocked, and between oil and taxes, the tax on gas is also skyrocketed in America. So, the average person who is making, you look at a middle-class person or a blue-collar worker who's maybe making $500, $600 a week, it costs them $80 to $100 to fill their gas tank. Basically, they have to extend the Bush tax cuts, and if they really want to help out, they need to do what they did back about 8 years ago when they took a relief on the taxes on the gas. So that way, if oil, doesn't matter what oil is doing or what ethanol or corn are doing, there's going to be relief at the gas pump, and consumers will have more money.
What are the potential risks, in your view, of another round of quantitative easing, and do you think it could work in boosting US employment and perhaps even growth?
Directly, I think, honestly, that besides the taxation thing, I think they have to put a stop on the payrolls. The government is, unlike Japan, who, when they got hit with a tsunami, they took a 15% pay cut across the board for the whole nation, for all government workers. Our government workers are going on strike asking for more money. In Chicago alone, the city's bankrupt, and you have the teachers striking for more money. If the government has to put a stop on that. They have to tell the whole workforce of the government, saying everyone's doing their part on the outside. The people who don't work for the government are the ones that put all the money into the pool. So the people who work for the government, if they don't help, and the government doesn't force them to that, the problem's not going to get solved. It's only going to escalate.
Why do you think the Fed are holding off from QE3 now?
I do, because the number is so artificial now. You have so many people that they're running out of their benefits. So the number, more people are falling off of the number than are being let go, and jobs are being created. So that number keeps it artificially low. So claims, I think, actually are going to be stable to possibly lower, and I think it's going to remain that way for the next 2 months. I do believe that the United States will do another round of quantitative easing. I think it would be the worst thing that they can do, but I do believe that they are going to be putting it on the table. I think that in lieu of, like I said, with the drought conditions, and you have the Bank of England with their rate decision next week, I think that things are going to be pretty stable as far as what they're going to do over the next month. But going into August or into September, because we're so close to the election, they want to keep employment below 8%, or around 8%, or try and get it below it, and they don't want to have a rocky economy. If things really start getting crazy, they're going to pull every bullet they have to stabilize things in front of the election.
How important do you think today's release of US jobless claims will be to the global markets and investors?
Right now, everyone wants to see if we're going to maintain stability. We've been preaching, the government's been preaching that things are stabilizing. So, and like I said, as long as the claims do stay low, which I think they will, it's an artificial low, I think that's going to keep things stable with the interest rate market, which if that stays stable, that keeps stability in the currency market too. It'll keep it more in a range trade. It'll keep oil stable. If oil stays between 75 and 95, the U.S. and the world is in at least a neutral state.
What do you predict will happen next from a currency perspective regarding the strength of the dollar?
I would say in the short term, I think that against the yen, it's probably going to stay in the same trend. I think with the euro, is in a short-term bottoming position. I think it's going to get rough. You're right above this 119.5 area, which is critical.
Thanks for joining me today, Theodore. Well, that's all we've got time for right now, but stay tuned to Dukascopy TV for more interviews and updates. For now, though, goodbye.